What is going on, guys? So if you saw the last video, obviously we got the GT500 over at Cody's, but I wanted to show you guys Cody's car right here. Now this is the same car that was the white with the blue stripes that we were doing some dyno stuff originally the first time.
I can actually tell you how long that dyno pull was. At that power level, the dyno pull is 4.5 seconds. So that's easy for a car to do.
And then we did it the second time when we thought it blew up.
Is it okay?
We made 950.
Okay.
And it was on a frickin' run.
Oh
no. She's done.
What happened?
It's straight smoking out of the breather.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so if you look at the back in the rendition of videos, it was white with blue stripes originally,
yep.
Gen 3R. At that point in time, I know we made like 915 or 925 wheel or something like that on a stock long block. A lot of people said it was going to blow up, never blew up. And then we ended up wrapping it blue, putting even more boost through it on a stock motor. Then that's when I went through did the quarter-mile stick shift, or stock motor stick shift record. And then we put it back on the dyno. The best I ever made was like 930-ish SAE.
Yeah, there was actually a duct tape issue.
Yeah.
How should we say this? So basically, we thought it blew up because there was a vacuum port on the blower that was covered up by duct tape. And
it's like a thing that a lot of people don't ever see on like YouTube videos. Like when you're making a YouTube video, like you just like don't even note it. Like people don't see the stuff in the background of what's going on.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I mean, you probably insert the clip right here, but like when we thought something went wrong with the motor when it made 930, we went like tore the whole car apart on the dyno, compression tested it, and we realized nothing was ever wrong. It was essentially operator error at that point in time. So. And then at that point, I was like, I think that was late last year. I wanted to do a full build on the car, and I don't even know where to even start because so much has changed. I mean, like it's not even the same car. I mean, it's the same car, but it's not the same car. It's like the entire, this isn't a wrap or anything. This is the entire chassis were stripped to a complete, not even really a roller. It's essentially just a bare chassis at that point. And then it got
this man went from mint paint GT500 with stripes, and now it's satin black.
I built we're right where we're at now. Over the last 6 months, I built the car to what you see it now in this garage. I mean, I work at a shop, so I mean, I could have took the car there and painted it and stuff like that, but that wasn't the rendition of what I thought what I wanted to do with the build. So I knew I could do everything and perform everything in this garage. So I painted the car in here, I caged the car in here. So the car has an 8.5 cert cage in it. I did that myself. And then MHS, Modular Head Shop, built the long block. I will forever owe Jordan over at Modular Head Shop because he essentially let me come in for the week of the long block assembly. Essentially, he just pointed fingers and let me attack it. And without him, you know, I wouldn't probably have nowhere near as much modular knowledge I do now. So that was the aspect of that was really, really cool. I wasn't really sure what blower planes we were going to go.
Yeah, we should talk about that. So obviously, 3.8 liter. We have a 3.8 liter on the GT500 as well. It's just sitting over there. Yeah. And we obviously were one of the two main guys for the VMP Gen 3R when it came out.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
mine had a secret sauce one on it, and then you had a standard one on it.
Like, that's no bullshit. I mean, I was literally the first one off the pallet when they came in from Magnuson when they hit VMP. I went over and picked one up from VMP there, and it was like literally one of the first ones off. And then I had it on the car literally the same day, and then the next following day we got it on a dyno and literally sent the car to the moon, like 26 or 27 psi. Got shared like all over the GT500 forums,
and that was maxed out. That, I mean, that was
I literally, it was
that was a
10%, and like if you look at the dyno graph data at that point in time, like it was like it would carry 24, 25 psi, and it would just hardcore spike because the blower was very efficient, but it was we were out of a motor efficient. We were just capped on everything essentially because the cams are really inefficient in the stock GT500 when you start making past 900 wheel, and there's like so many specifics I'm leaving out because like the amount of stuff I learned in that year of time on stock motor GT500 stuff is astronomical. How to keep one alive, what to properly do. There's so much specifics to it that a lot of people don't, really dive into.
Yeah, and we learned a lot from mine. Obviously, I bent a rod.
Yeah. So.
And we tossed that up to one. We saw some lean logs when I actually ran the 10.0 pass. Yeah. It was a little lean. And then
we could get in so much data, but as far as his stock motor stuff, we're talking. We're talking about a year ago now. If we look, just forgetting about where we're at now. If you're talking about a year ago when we both had Gen 3Rs in the car. When the car went 10.0 and then literally bent the rod like what 3 nights after that. I think it was like 3 nights after you went to the track that night. You went 10.0.
Yeah, or I think it was actually a week. I think I made it a week
and you logged the 10.0 pass, and I got a decent. I started becoming decent at reading logs, and I'm not a tuner. No means I'm not a tuner. I leave that up to like my car was tuned by Lund at that time, and his car was tuned by VMP, and now obviously it's tuned by Palm Beach Dyno.
There's a big thing about like stock motors. Obviously this car made a lot of torque. We made over 800 foot-pounds of torque on this, and timing down low can really tax the rods.
So there's
and peak timing too. This car actually made more power with less peak timing.
Yeah, so I've experienced just about everything as far as stock motor stuff, but there's peak timing, timing through the curve. Fueling, if talking about keeping a stock motor G500 alive, it's timing through the curve, peak timing, fueling, and then RPM. And all three of those affect each other, especially with how much boost you throw at it. So you can cram 30 plus PSI through a stock motor GT500, and a lot of people are going to look at you like, no you can't, no you can't. Yes you can, trust me, I've done it and the car's lit. I promise you, you can. Now there's things in hindsight that you can't have with 30 pounds of boost. So the car is not going to make as much. It would make similar power if you wouldn't. So like, you can't have it all. You know what I mean? Like when whether it be peak timing, all the fuel pulled out of it, and all the boost. You have to learn the proper combos. I'm very familiar. At that point in time, I feel like I was having. I still do. I feel like I have one person hit me up once a week or once a month. At least once a month, but. At that point in time, it was about once a week. I had somebody hitting me up and saying like, "Yo, I blew up my stock motor GT500." And sometimes I would get a log from them, or I would actually see a video of the car blowing up. And like, I might as well. You know what? I just have Andrew enter like a little montage of the actual DMs, people like sending me blown up.
Yeah, you'll have to send me the images.
I'll send you videos of people hitting me, like sending me blown up GT500s, and I would learn what they did wrong, and that's how I perfected the setup to where to what we did. So. It's good reflecting back, but
yeah, and then that leads to obviously 3.8 liter. So obviously I ran the Gen 3R on the built motor, but being that the blower is a smaller blower, in order to make the 1140 that we made with mine, that was a 2.4 10% lower. That's all of it. Besides changing the lower pulley to a 15, or is there even a 20%?
So there is a 20% lower for GT500s. There's a 10, there's 15, there's 20, but the 20 is a custom lower from ATI. And it's like $1,000 lower, and you have to delete the oil cooler, you have to mill the timing cover. It's race car stuff.
Yeah, so realistically, the VMP was maxed out, and I will agree, I saw some comments saying that this DD149 probably would have made a little bit more power with the VMP. Yeah. And it's possible, but I do want to say that the inlet on this thing is absolutely massive, much bigger than the VMP, and then I think that's why this works so well, being that. But the VMP, we were maxing out to run the power that we wanted to make, while this 3.8, I mean, Dustin said it would make what, 1,600 wheel horsepower or something like that turned up.
Yeah. I mean, fully whipped up for sure.
The idea is that we're getting into the blower efficiency range of the Whipple without running a 2.5, you know, 15% lower.
I mean, not only that, I mean, just look in theory. If you look back in I mean, Andrew's not the only built motor 10.5 compression GT500 out there. So there's multiple other Gen 3R GT500s, and that's exactly what they make at with that compression level, with essentially the heads cam that are in it. And heads cam on GT500s, you can have 600 lift cams and you can have 480 lift cams. Now, like, this is getting very into the specifics, but you can have 480 lift cams and you can have 600 lift cams, and you can only see a 20 wheel horsepower difference in peak. So the heads and cam are very efficient when you start. The aftermarket heads and cam, like heads cam packages, are very, you know, they're minute on GT500 because the heads flow so well from the factory. But as far as Gen 3R stuff, I mean, the car made 1140 with the Gen 3R, which is right up the alley of what other 10.5 compression GT500s make with the Gen 3R. So, I mean, it's like, you know, it's not like the car was, you know, it did what it did. It ran 960 with it. So, I mean, and that was on a very, I mean, that was the first track outing with it. I mean, yeah, we could have dialed in the car, and the car probably would have went low nines, no doubt about it. But
I only had 3 full passes with it.
And
so.
I mean, there's so much into making a car go fast. A lot of people just don't understand.
And the other thing to say is, like, this blower is really not a blower for a stock motor. I mean, it would probably, even on the lowest, the 375, it'd probably make more power than. Yeah,
and I mean, you're just out of the efficiency rate. You're not spinning the blower hard enough too, so the blower's not making peak power all the way up till, you know.
Yeah,
the top
I mean
range. That's not even saying anything. I mean, Dustin Whipple will tell you that too. I mean, if you're gonna like send stock motor stuff or have a stock motor and you want to build an ideal setup, I mean, a 3-liter Whipple will get it done. That's why they made the 3-liter Whipple Gen 5 before they made the 3.8-liter Gen 5.
Yeah, and 2.9 Whipple too.
So,
2.9's been
2.9 Gen 4. Yeah, so
that's why there's such a big thing between VMP 265 and Whipple 2.9, Whipple 3.0 stuff, because those are all the mass numbers of people.
Yeah, and I mean, I love blower data, so like I'm not a hater, like I'm not a company hater by any means. So like I said, I was one of the first ones to have the Gen 3R. As far as now, I mean, there's a handful of 3.8 cars out there. I'll probably be one of the first ones to really turn the 3.8 up. Like, I mean, I'm talking, for what I have in mind, want to be like, I mean, obviously other than Andrew's so far, he's the highest dyno number for a 3.8 Whipple GT500 as a whole.
On a bias ply tire. Let me just add that there.
Yeah, on a bias ply tire.
Asterisk.
Because people are like, on a bias ply tire.
I have no doubt that was either 1,300 or just under 1,300 wheel horsepower. But that's besides the point.
That's beside the point, yeah. It'll happen, so I mean, it's not like we're just talking we'll make it do it for sure. So just give us a little time here. But as far as that, yes, and like I said, I'm not a blower hater, so I mean, there's rumors of a 3.1 TVS coming out. And you know, I'm not going to say the car's going to get one, or I'm not going to say I'm going to have one and run it, but you know, I'm willing to test it and I'm willing to buy it. So I mean, you know, I'll fund it. So if I buy one just to make a dyno number with it, take it off and sell it, or however I do, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy data and having fun and like specking combos. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really a hater, so I love all GT500 stuff really. So but that's where we're at today. So I mean, it's
a little bit more on the setup. I mean, obviously MHS built.
Yeah, it's a modular head shop built, iron block, 20 over. It's a 5.4 still. Like I said, 5.4 iron block. It's got a factory crank in it. It's got a
MFP crank support.
Yeah, MFP crank support. It's got.
We have on both.
Yep, Molnar power out of rods, JE pistons, spec'd in a JE SR pistons, spec'd in a 9.5 to 1 compression ratio. A little bit lower of a compression ratio than this over here. We'll touch on that in a second. It's got ported heads, Jordan's stage 2 ported heads. It's got L&M NSR cams, a very mild set of cams, even though the car chops extremely hard.
Yeah, that's one of the major differences between this has Jordan's custom spec stage 3 cams.
Yes.
And then this has basically off the shelf L&M NSR cams, which a lot of people run on stock motors too.
Yeah, so there's some theory behind that. We wanted to try that first. I'm not I can have this motor out in like 2 hours just because there's not a whole lot to it.
I can't.
Yeah, that's a street car, so you know, it's a little bit more involved dropping that one out than I can literally have this out in no time. So if I want to change a set of cams in a weekend, it's not a huge deal. This is more, like I said, it's going down the road, more of a race car, and you know, quarter-mile stuff is what I set the car up for. And then as far as timing components, this has a 10mm full conversion. If you look over here, this has 8mm timing components, so the valve covers are smaller. They're GT500 stuff. Without getting too much into the nitty-gritty of it, 10mm stuff's a little bit more stronger. AccuFab makes a very good set of guides, tensioners, and secondary chains. So as far as that, that's what this car has in it. It's going to be able to handle some RPM and a little bit of boost. You know, being the biggest weak link right now is the iron block, but I'm willing to, you know, obviously I'm willing to turn stuff up, so I'm not scared there. But as far as that, that's a long block. That's a blower. It's got a T56 Magnum in it. We got rid of the TR660 because I want to do a removable bell housing and then a direct mounted shifter, so I don't have to deal with lockout. You know, if multiple I'm assuming a lot of GT500 guys are watching this. You know, you're familiar with the 1-2 or any 2-3 lockout just because the body flex. So T56 Magnum eliminates that. As of now, it's got an RXT 1200 clutch in it. I will be doing a slipper clutch at some point shortly. Just wanted to get everything broken in first and dialed in there. It's got a Holley standalone. It's no longer on a factory ECU, so it's got sitting over here mounted on a custom carbon panel with a complete. There's not a piece of factory wiring in this car. This car was completely wired from scratch by me with a lease electronic street strip board, so it controls the entire body. Lights, anything that needs to work inside the car, it powers. Doors, water pump, fan shroud, intercooler, everything, fuel system, everything. It powers the entire chassis off the switch panel, and then a hard mounted board on the cage. Obviously the car is satin black now. It was fully refinished, so it's all paint. BMR everything front to back. I know I'm forgetting something.
Yeah, I mean, ice tank, battery fuel system.
Yeah, so it doesn't have no longer it's got a fuel cell
caged as well.
Yeah, so it's got a fuel cell in it now. I'll get a little bit of light for Andrew right here. It's got a 6-gallon fuel cell, 6-gallon ice tank, battery mounted back here. So the fuel system in it's, I don't have any more fuel system issues. So it's essentially max effort to give us some headroom. As far as that, it's got some carbon fiber parts around the car.
Carbon fiber deck lid.
Yep, carbon fiber deck lid.
The doors are coming.
Yeah, doors are coming. It's got Lexan rear glass. It's optic armor. It's not glued in yet, so.
Yeah.
The dash is not fitted yet, so I haven't done any that made the dash around. It's sitting right over there, but I'm gonna make a dash around and got to clean up around the roll cage and stuff like that. So right now, I mean, it runs. It's there. I can put it on my dyno right now and we can make power with it, but it's mostly just tighten up the little things and make sure everything's perfected. Because when it's done, we make the power. I want to be able to hit the ground running right away to not have any issues. Make sure everything's double checked, triple checked. Works on the street. If it works on the street, it'll work on the dyno and it'll work at the track. So that's how my mindset is on it. So
yeah. Do you want to start it up?
Yeah, I can do a little startup video of it.
Yeah, this thing is wild. I can't wait to get some video of it outside and really, like, if someone has a 2-car trailer in Florida they want to let us borrow for TX2K, just go ahead and let me know. Instagram, Facebook, my phone number is always in the description. Like, let me know if we can borrow your 2-car trailer, gooseneck, we got the F250. Because if we're rolling to TX2K with the GT500 and this on the back, that would be rowdy. I'm not ready to buy a 2-car trailer yet. I barely have a place to put mine. I have a good friend that lets me put my trailer at his house. I hear fuel. Chop, chop.
She's bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like still working. This is my first ever hauling myself, so that's my like base file getting this fired up and everything. So I'm still learning fueling, like actually as far as Holly side, because it's completely different stuff.
Why does this sound? It smells like straight up popcorn.
Yeah, it smells like straight popcorn. Yeah, it's probably just it's on the pump with a smaller set of injectors. So I'm trying to keep a decent amount of fuel out of it. But being that it's a mechanical driven throttle body, it's not drive-by-wire anymore, and it's fuel celled, so it's got a decent amount of pump behind it. Start enrichment is the biggest thing. So I just trying to make sure everything. You don't want to have a ton of fuel on it. You don't want to have a ton of fuel pouring in on a built motor. You can wash the rings out of it. So the biggest thing is just making sure everything's dialed in. Like I said, I've never, this is my first ever Holly, so I'm still learning a ton of stuff myself. But it's close. It's very close. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then, like I said, I don't know if Andrew can enter or probably post some badass shots that are like elite street strip boards, stuff like that. We'll take before we head out. So. But yeah, I mean, there's so many little things that people don't even realize. I mean, there's so much time and stuff that goes into, all the brake system. I built all those lines take forever. Fuel system, all the lines are custom built. Like simple things. It's just like a throttle cable bracket here. This is not he can't just buy that.
Yeah, because this is no longer.
Yeah, it's no longer drive-by-wire. So all the throttle cable linkage goes through that. All that stuff's made. The actual throttle cable bracket's made. So like all this stuff takes hours, you know what I mean? Especially when you want it to when you want it to look factory, it takes time. So, this is what I've been my main focus on my free time when I get time away from the work at my job to a couple hours here and there, and it's close. So,
yeah,
get on the dyno here soon, and then get straight to the track with it. So
definitely be filming the dyno, and then hopefully we can get a track rental, both of the cars out. Because really the biggest problem with a new setup at Test and Tune is you literally might get, if you're lucky, 4 passes out of a whole night. And that is not a lot of passes. Because really at a track rental, you can really, make a hit. If it blows off the tires, you can back it up. I mean, I did it the other night and it looked like a jack because I watered down the whole lane. But,
yeah, but I mean the track rental is just bad at doing. We'll schedule one up in December and just go rent the track out
and we got the good weather coming. So
we got a couple of friends we'll go out with, have 6 or 10 cars.
Yeah, and I feel like have you not said this yet? The goal with it is to.
Yeah, I mean I don't really want to.
Sorry, Matt Burnett, but
I don't really want to claim like too much. And Matt Burnett's super cool. Built Pro Shop. He can enter that. I'll have you enter the video of that too.
That is one badass car from years ago.
2016, 17 is when that car was last out. That car's since been retired since then, but they're talking about bringing it back out. And I think the car is going to be getting an auto in it. I'm not 100% because Matt's kind of wanting to make a surprise for that. So, and they're super cool dudes up there. Like I said, the car's got a single belt drive, multiple built Pro Shop parts on this equipped. So. But they set the record really damn deep for the stick shift GT500. That is the end goal for the car. I will get there. I mean, it takes time. You know what I mean? Like it
8.5 at
time.
1.
Yeah, 853 at 166 with a 127 60 foot with a regular T56 and a RXT 1200. So if you know anything about like clutch based stuff, that is extreme compliment. I mean, I'm pretty sure it still has the 60 foot. S197 record. I mean, on top of if it wasn't for Joel Steele, he has the actual S197 stick shift record as a whole now. But that car is literally pretty much freaking pro mod with a stick shift behind it. I mean, it's still a door car, but that thing's bad. So, but yeah, as far as GT500 stuff as a whole, Matt Burnett, Built Pro Shop, they currently have a stick shift record at 853 at 166, and I would like to. The chase after that. So I'm confident the car will do, beyond confident the car will go 8s very, very easily, just because you know.
This will go 8s. I mean, very.
But the biggest thing that people don't understand is the weight difference. You know.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a 3,200 pound car with me in it. This is gonna be
4,000.
Yeah, 4,000 plus with Andrew in it. So, you know, you pull 800 pounds out of the car, it's a substantial difference. Not only that, I mean, the car is completely driven 4/4 mile stuff. There's nothing in the car that doesn't need to be in the car. It has everything it needs. It has everything to need to be 100% quarter mile focused. So, you know, you can hit the ground running a whole lot easier with a setup like this at the track than trying to dial in and perfect that over time. So, as far as this, I mean, trap speed won't be a lie. I'm fairly confident this car will do 160 pretty much off the trailer. So, 160 mile an hour plus off the trailer for trap speed. So.
Yeah, so
it's there.
Basically, you guys need to follow Cody on Instagram, Cody_54. You're gonna be posting videos on this.
As far as the power number, I'm not really too concerned. So it's more just a track related stuff. But we're gonna put it on the dyno. We're gonna make a number. You know, so if it's gonna be there, we might as well do it. You know,
Yeah, buddy.